New Year's Eve. The city outside was alive. Fireworks testing the night sky, laughter rising from neighbors' balconies, champagne glasses clinking across apartments. But inside my living room, everything was too quiet. I remember holding my phone, thumb hovering over the banking app. It was supposed to be a ritual, closing out the year by checking the savings I had built over a decade, proof that all those sleepless nights, double shifts, and risks had been worth something. But when the screen loaded, my heart slammed against my ribs. 0, 0, 0. Not one digit left standing. Not a typo, not a glitch, the balance was gone. A decade of sacrifice, erased in the span of a second. I dropped the phone, the sound sharp against the hardwood. My champagne glass slipped from my hand, exploding into shards. I couldn't breathe. It was like the air had been sucked out of the room. And then I heard it. Laugh. My sister, Emily, lounging on the couch like a queen on her throne. She swirled the bubbles in her glass, eyes glittering with satisfaction. "Guess the genius CEO isn't so invincible after all," she said, each word dipped in venom. She raised her glass in a mock toast. "Cheers, big sis. Maybe next year will be better." I didn't answer. I didn't scream. I didn't even cry. I just stared at her, memorizing every flicker of that smirk, every angle of her face, because I wanted to remember the exact moment my sister stopped being family and became my enemy. Emily was 3 years younger than me. When we were kids, everyone said we were inseparable. She was the shadow I never asked for, following me everywhere, repeating my jokes, copying my style. Thought it was love. Maybe it was at first. When I launched my first startup, she was there. I hired her without hesitation, trusted her with projects, shared late-night takeout as we brainstormed ideas. We'd collapse on the office floor together, giddy with ambition. I believed in blood loyalty. Thought she did too. But the cracks were always there. The first time I became team lead, she smiled through clenched teeth. When investors praised my ideas, she pretended to laugh along, but her eyes burned. When I was promoted to CEO, she didn't clap. She left the room. That was the moment jealousy began to rot her from the inside out. I ignored the signs. The files that mysteriously went missing. The emails forwarded to strange addresses. My laptop left in a different spot when I came home. Passwords that inexplicably failed. She always had excuses. "It's a glitch. You're overworked. Stop being paranoid." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe my sister wouldn't betray me. But draining $200,000 from my accounts on New Year's Eve? That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a glitch. That was a declaration of war. Shift in mindset. Strategic planning begins. She wanted me to explode, to accuse her, to scream so she could play the victim. But I didn't give her the satisfaction. Instead, I smiled weakly, raised my glass, and whispered, "Happy New Year, Em." Inside, I was already sharpening knives. The next morning, I moved fast. Step 1, I called my cybersecurity team. They ran a full forensic sweep. Within hours, I had irrefutable proof. Remote logins traced to her IP address, timestamps lining up perfectly with the stolen transfers, and copies of files she had siphoned off my drive. She had been sloppy, arrogant, convinced she was untouchable. Step 2. I froze her accounts. Not just the ones tied to the stolen funds. Every account in her name. Bank accounts, brokerage platforms, trading apps, even the digital wallet she used for rideshares. Overnight, her financial lifeline was cut. Step 3. I went after the one investment we'd co-signed years ago. A property deal that was about to triple in value. I bought her out, quietly, legally, but cruelly. I handed her payment in cash. Dirty, untraceable, insulting. She hated cash. It was beneath her. Step 4, I picked up the phone. I called in every favor I had across the industry. By the end of the week, her name was radioactive. Every recruiter flagged her as high risk. Every firm blacklisted her. Her LinkedIn profile may as well have had a skull and crossbones stamped across it. And then I waited. The confrontation. 2 weeks later, she walked into a high-rise conference room, thinking she had a meeting with investors who would rescue her crumbling reputation. She had no idea I was the one who booked the room. She strutted in, heels clicking, hair perfectly styled, fake confidence painted across her face. But when she saw me sitting at the head of the table, her steps faltered. Her smile cracked. What are you doing here?" she asked. I didn't answer right away. I slid a thick binder across the table. Inside, printouts of every login attempt, every unauthorized transfer, every stolen file. Evidence she couldn't laugh away. Her hands shook as she flipped through the pages. "You wouldn't dare," she whispered. I leaned forward, my voice low, steady. "You already know I would." The door opened. 2 men stepped in. Private investigators working with the state attorney's office. Badges flashed. Emily froze, eyes wide with terror. That was the moment. The exact second she realized the game was over. Resolution. By the time she was released, her accounts were drained, her assets seized, her name blacklisted across every firm in the industry. The $200,000 was restored to me, plus interest from the liquidation of her holdings. And the property she once bragged about owning. Emily would never sit in a boardroom again. Never pitch to investors. Never step foot into my world without whispers trailing her like smoke. Some people call what I did ruthless. Call it balance. Because blood may bind us, but betrayal rewrites the script. And I don't forgive betrayal. I crush it until there's nothing left but silence.